before we go any further, we're going to have our recorders talk about, summarize what happened in their sessions. Anyone have any comments they want to make? Questions unanswered before we go to that? Okay. Well, if they come up, just holler. What we did is had recorders. Now in my session, poor Jake, we kind of jumped around a little bit because our questions were blended kind of. We had so many good responses to something that wasn't the question we were asking. So we kind of jumped around, and poor Jake had to make some sense of this. I think we covered everything, but Jake, can you make any sense about all the stuff we talked about? I think there were some great ideas.
Yeah, I sort of categorized everything as we were talking, kept the fingers going, but we did jump around, but got some great ideas. Before I start, I do have this in a Google document. Would you like me to either email someone that or share this somewhere?
I would, Steve would like you to email it to him.
Great.
If you can, that would be great. And we're going to consolidate those, and we'll be using them both in the PLC and other places.
Okay, sounds good. Would you like me to run through all 3 breakout sessions?
How would you like to do that, Steve?
Yeah, they can just kind of,
run
give
through
the
all 3?
highlights.
Okay.
Maybe give the highlights, and then we'll go to
we'll
breakout 2 and 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. So concerning the partner development and engagement, some of our best partner themes were connections with city programs. We had a common theme of a lot of people working with reentry programs. For referral networks, it looked like some people were utilizing legal services, departments of human services, homeless services, departments of juvenile justice. There were employer partners, small business placement partners, marketing partners. Some of those strategies, it says what resources do they provide. One thing that Paul brought up is that their employer partners are very involved throughout their orientation and training process, providing some of the trainings and meeting the clients and sort of scouting them as they're in the training so that they are ready for those types of employment after they graduate. Who hires our graduates? Common theme was local environmental employer partners. We did have an emphasis someone put on private sector employers who might be particularly interested in giving back to the community. And then someone also brought up that there are alumni and graduates that are working for particular companies that might assist the current participants or people that might be graduating in a current cohort with finding employment. Who provides your life skills training? What trainings do they provide? A lot of us do our life skills training in-house, and that a lot of us use that life skills training as something that we do right off the bat within the first weeks or first week of training. The curriculums, common themes were just individual awareness, basic like resume, cover letter help, assessment of community-based barriers. We talked about a lot. I hope I'm going quick enough. There's a lot of info here. I'm trying to pick out the highlights. How do you select your advisory board committee members? Was the 4th question in that breakout room session 1. And that was also sort of a cross question. Our advisory boards are made up of employer partners, community, city partners, our training partners. Okay. All right. I'm on the breakout session 2. Shall I keep going?
Sure.
Okay, great. So this session is participant recruitment, assessment, and retention. So the methods to recruit the prospective participants, a lot of us partner with community-based organizations that provide similar but not the same trainings, was what was one of the ideas brought up. There's also a use of social media. it was brought up that a strategy is to leave the language of our training programs with case managers of different organizations that have one-on-one meetings with clients. Some of the strategies also used were QR codes, having frequent info sessions, which the other agencies and partner agencies are invited to participate in. Second question was, what criteria do you use to screen applicants? This is a quick rundown here. Some of the basics are required documents such as state ID, sometimes proof of employment. Some of our people on our panel were requiring a proof of vaccination. There are TABE tests or maybe other assessment, reading and math assessment skills used. Tests used, high school GED or equivalent, and some had a requirement of hands-on activities. Third question was, do you require drug testing as a screening tool? A common theme here was that our panel does this in a way that is what the employer wants. For some programs, you have to drug test and pass that drug test to get into the training programs. Other training programs offer support for someone that might be dealing with that issue. But all of them reported having their employers sort of drive that conversation as well. What strategies or services do you provide to retain your participants? Common themes here were continued case management to address barriers or assist with goals, ongoing job placement support, and continued access to employer network. All right, we're on the number 3. This one's faster. We ran through this breakout session pretty quickly. This is just our curriculum. So besides HAZWOPER, some of the courses offered were OSHA 30, asbestos abatement, lead and painting, intro to hand and power tools, BPI air sealing and installation. And there was an environmental foundation class that provided some general awareness. Let's see. How do you find technical trainers? So we sort of addressed this, but there is a combination of in-house and outsourced training partners. A lot of the life skills and things like CPR, OSHA 10 were done in-house, whereas things like the OSHA 40 HAZWOP or more of the technical trainings were local trainers. For COVID protocols, maintaining COVID protocols, what are we doing? So we all raised our hands, and it looked like most, if not all, were back to in-person trainings. Still being considerate of social distancing, which means maybe masking, smaller class sizes, continuing with the sanitization and everything, and then making sure we're doing everything possible to provide safety in the facilities that we are using. And finally, how often do you realign your curriculum with employer needs? When we talked about realigning curriculum, one of the things that came up was CDL training, and then also leveraging trainings from other funders to add to the participant credentials. And I think I'm done with all my talking.
That was fantastic. That was fantastic.
Great job.
Remind us to give you an HMTRI genuine gel pen if you're at Brownfields 22.
I will happily
accept
that.
Was great. That. Thank you. Good job. Now, someone else another group may have had the exact same thing, but that's okay. Let's hear what the next group had.
Renee, you're up, Renee.
All right, I'll do my best. But yeah, there was a lot of the same repeating themes. So under partner development and engagement, the first question was, who are the best partners and what resources do they provide? So again, it was a lot of employer partners, community advocacy groups, churches mentioned often, and also local governments, economic development. And let's see. Whoops, sorry, of course, I'm fat fingering my computer. So I just flipped off the screen I was reading from. Sorry. Okay. Next question was, who hires your grads? We had a wide variety here, but of course, a common theme was environmental remediation companies. But we had several groups that work directly with, I would say, government type agencies like Department of Transportation and Conservation, Department of Conservations, and other, I would say, advocacy groups like that do, ecological restoration. So that was an interesting one. Next one is who provides life skills training. In our group, it was largely done in-house. Some, do outsource that to their job centers, but most of it was done in-house, and it was, in summary, job readiness and life skills training. So, that ranged from career readiness, literacy, financial literacy, things like that. The next one was how to select advisory group members. Again, we were a little all over the board on this one, but a lot of them had employer participation, but some were more governmental or advocacy group. Some were residents of the community were engaged. And what we also noticed is there was a lot of difference between how often these groups met. So as they first were acquiring a grant, some were meeting every week trying to figure things out, whereas some only meet once a quarter. But it seemed like the sweet spot was about a month, every month. Next topic was participant recruitment, assessment, and retention. And what methods did they use? So some of our folks were more, I guess, selective with their participation, and then some were intentionally trying to recruit the toughest participants out there, those that are, re-entering society and maybe had violent crime in their background. So I found that really interesting that, we've got folks out there really trying to take on those tough folks that can be difficult to place. Let's see what methods. So a lot of us are relying on referrals from past graduates. If you have a really good program, your graduates are successful and they tell their friends, so they tell their family, and that drives a lot of good referrals to your program. Another thing that came up was social media. Especially after COVID and everything that happened, we're starting to see wages rise in other industries. And, you're looking at, do I want to serve lattes at Starbucks, or do I want to go remove hazardous materials like asbestos or clean up hazardous waste for the same rate of pay? So, really educating people about, what they're passing up, maybe a part-time job for a full-time opportunity. And a whole host of additional skills and certifications that could serve them better in the long term than taking that job at Walmart or Starbucks or whatever it might be. Sorry, I can get long-winded. Tell me if I need to stop. All right, so what criteria are we using? Some were doing digital literacy. Some are doing, we do work keys. Others are continuously meeting with their employers to figure out what their needs are to be sure that they are recruiting the right participants. And, that may change over time. And then do we require drug testing? I'd say there was a lot of variance here because a lot of the groups are recruiting folks that are re-entering who may still be on probation or parole. So they're already engaged in drug testing. But some said even if they don't do initial drug testing, they will put their participants in a random drug testing program so that the participant knows at any time they could be drug tested. Another one was just on reasonable suspicion. So a lot of variance there. And of course, we got the marijuana issue. Everyone's has access basically now. So you really need to find out from your employers what if that's going to be allowable or not allowable for the types of jobs that you're looking to place people into. What strategies are you using to retain? And overwhelmingly, it was case management or career coaching, building those relationships and trust to retain those people, and maybe even entice them with future training opportunities like access to refresher courses and continued career coaching. All right, topic 3, curriculum. Besides HAZWOPER, what are the primary supported courses or primary courses that you're offering? There was a big variance here again. We had OSHA 30, OSHA 10. Some were doing a National Green Infrastructure certification. I'm not sure what this is, tree tender, tool use, first aid, chainsaw, plant identification. We also had CDL, hazmat, asbestos, lead, confined space management, radiation worker, mold remediation, and even forklift. So, and there was a lot more because a lot of these organizations are intertwined in other workforce programs too, allowing people to diversify their training. Let's see, how do you find technical trainers? So someone said we procure them every 3 years. So basically they're posting on a website, and trainers have to respond with a proposal. So it's contracted out. But I did hear of a very innovative way of doing some training, and Ken Alexander with Recycle Force. So they have a model of cross training that's built within their culture. And so they are actually kind of taking from their participants. They're always looking for instructors and trainers from entry level to just having peers and mentors available all the way up to being instructors. So, they're always looking for those attributes and traits within the students that they're teaching. And it seems like they have a pretty successful program there, and different checkpoints at 30 days, 60 days, 90, 120 to see if these people possibly have skills to be able to provide training at some level. And I'd like to learn more about that. So, and then we asked, do you have online training, more technical or live? A lot of us were doing some version of both, since, COVID is kind of taking a dive now, which is good. But there's still a lot of hybrid training going on. Some of us were still requiring some COVID protocols such as masking or social distancing. Some still had some physical barriers in place, and even vaccinations. A few of us are still requiring vaccinations. So, and then how do you align curriculum with employer needs? So I think this just goes back to our, ongoing board meetings or advisory group meetings, just staying in touch and getting that feedback from employers to be sure that we are aligning with the needs that are out there, with the jobs that are available. And working, of course, with your job centers. So I think that's it. Hope I didn't babble on too long.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you. Mark Renee down for a pen.
All right.
All right, Karen.
Thank you.
Karen, group 3. You're on.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Yeah, they saved the best group for last, right? That's what I'm gonna say. Yeah, right, Steve?
Yes, yes, of course.
All right. Some of it will be repetitive because everything that was spoken was really what we said too in our group. And so the first section was partner development and engagement. So who are your best partners and what do they provide? And interestingly enough, a lot of them was regional planning commissions, city state organizations, conservation groups, environmental groups, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, universities too. So that was really great that some of the community colleges and universities were directly involved with trainings or applications and coordinating a lot of the hands-on projects. They also, one was interesting was that they actually had a partner who was next door to them. And so they have, it's actually a forklift and they do landscaping. And so they actually provide the training because they are neighbors. But they do a lot of it with, majority was just city and county relationships. Also, what was said before too is the American Job Centers, those career centers, they help with not only the classroom space, but also the job integration and the training opportunities. And unions were valuable too as great partners, and use of facilities, and Department of Labor, and again, the environmental conservation, they do a lot of classes, especially what we heard from Alaska was the spill response teams, landfill operations, and so they have a really great program. And also, you know, again, with Chicago, like the Cook County Forest, preserves and maintenance, landscaping, city parks, so that was great. Who hires your graduate? Similar to what was said earlier, was just, you know, depending on the training and what's available. What we found interesting was the Sunbelt environmental cleanup with the solar installation and all that. They really help with the employment. Again, with the county and the American Job Centers and the career centers, they help. Springfield, which was really cool, is that they compiled a list of environmental employees in construction, and they looked at certification, who's hiring, and they do, and that's how they compiled their list of who's graduating and finding out what jobs are available. You know, they just leverage a lot of it with just their partners. And again, this was really a huge topic, was just that CDL, that there's a lot, and transportation field is huge, and there's always a demand for truck drivers. One place was close to a chemical manufacturing facilities, and so their students went right into those fields, and they were a great partner, especially with wastewater industry. And it just depends. And what was also interesting was that some of them was they had like a small group that they would temporarily use their temp services, and they would hire them as a holding and also training and support until they got into bigger jobs. How do you provide your life skills training, and what training do they provide? And again, you know, a lot of the supports that were mentioned earlier, one of them used a Fifth Third Bank. The life skills training, some of them do it in-house. I know that our group does it with our essential skills. That includes customer service, work keys, financial education, all that, just because it makes it a well-rounded program. So when they are done, they've really got that full understanding and that whole leadership and team building. Some soft skills included modules on nutrition, preparing for challenge, building community and support systems. And they also partnered with DHHS and the Department of Corrections. And so there was a lot of training partners, and some of them, majority did them in-house. How did you select your advisory committee member, and how often do you meet? And that was interesting. There was a variety from meeting monthly, depending on their board, to meeting twice a year, and also having informal meetings that might be on a topic of emergency or also a hot topic, and so they can convene a meeting. And that was really critical, I think, for New Mexico, because their advisory board, because they are spread throughout the whole state, and so it's very hard to have an advisory or group meeting that could meet. And so she's been really helpful doing meetings via Zoom or emails and working with the trainers and partners. And a majority, again, met with their nonprofit agencies, unions, employers, trainings, and, you know, they meet just to talk about what are the trends and what are some issues with the job. The second group of questions was actually participant recruitment, assessment, and retention. And I believe some of the answers will be similar to what you heard previously with the other two groups. And how do you recruit? Website, flyers, radio, big, consistent was just the word of mouth. Oregon said that they've been around for 30 years, so there wasn't a shortage of applicants. And they also have career fairs and leadership institutes, and that really helps recruit. Again, they use social media, and they make contact with those that are returning citizens, and, you know, just other trainers and other partners. The criteria to screen is similar to all the other ones, besides the grant requirements, you know, and limited slots. They look at, ethnicity, income, race. Are they a SNAP? Are they 18? Are they US citizens? And do they have to take, similar to TAPE, they do a CASAS testing. And what was really neat with Missouri was that they do an aptitude test, because if some people come in and they might be interested, but is that really the career they want? And so they do an ONET profiler and the Talify screening tool to manage, to kind of determine whether this is the right field and the right fit for them. And so the next question is drug screening used. And I think we had like 8 in our group, and I think 7 out of 8 said yes. And again, the same conversation, the issue is that in some states it's legal. And so, how do you handle that? Because they come in and they might not pass a drug test, but then they say, well, it's legal. And then it's that explanation and the education of how it might be, okay, but it is, the employees, and also it's a federal grant. And so it's not allowed. And some people use random breathalyzer tests. And again, it's employer and trainer driven. And of course, we don't want them out driving a truck or having heavy equipment when they're under the influence. What strategies and or services do you provide to retain participants? And it's also, it's all the supportive services, whether it's transportation, stipends, help with barrier mitigation. There's groups that have advocate services. They help with tuition and minister. And really, I think in general, our group said hey, it's free training and it's a immediate job placement. And so that should really almost be your incentive for completing and for staying and completing the program. Someone had a Rise Up program, and they have also these all additional supportive services, and it's just the whole package that we all provide with all the other supports. And then the third question was curriculum. Besides HAZWOPER, what are your primary EPA supportive courses? Customer service, OSHA, work keys, first aid, CPR, environmental OSHA 30, environmental assessments, environmental sampling, forest fire, first aid, CPR, Department of Transportation, hazmat, solid waste, sustainability, asbestos. We talked about the NFPA focus versus the OSHA 1910, 20, 120, 24 emergency response. And then workforce training with, I thought was kind of interesting, was that Earth Advantage with Trust, with Energy Trust, and that's what they do in Oregon. Silica, forklift, lead-borne pathogens, lead abatement, renovation, repair, and mold and asbestos. So there was a lot of different trainings, and it really is awesome to see these huge, these programs with all these different credentials, and it just makes that person come out with just a beautiful resume. How do you find technical trainers? Do you hire them? Do you contract them? And some of them actually in-house have their own technical training. Some coordinate with the industry partners on specific trades, and they have a memorandum of agreement or understanding. Some are required with a specific like RFP because they have to have a permit for the cities, and so they have to be contracted or certified through the state. And so majority was just training in organizations, and some of them were specific. So it was interesting that firefighters can do HAZWOPER, and there's solar installers that can actually do the solar contract training, and finding that right partnerships that's specific to the expertise. What type of training do you deliver online, technical or life skills? Pretty much it was face-to-face or hybrid. Some of them are just because of COVID, and so they found that some of them really work on Zoom, although some of it is difficult, but the hybrid was a lot easier to do with the hybrid model or doing it virtually. Are you maintaining COVID protocols? New Mexico and some other states still have that mandate until May 17th, so they are under masking and vaccination, social distancing. Obviously, we all do that. We all, kind of do that social distancing, hand sanitizers, masking where, if they feel comfortable. Not all places have the vaccine requirement. Classes are smaller, and they do testing, or they do mandate that the staffing are vaccinated in some areas, or that they do follow protocols so that they make sure the students are safe. And let's see, they do clean up the space in the classroom to make sure that it's clean. How often do you realign your curriculum with employer needs? The last question, and that was kind of, again, dependent on the grant. It's also dependent on what they submitted with the EPA, so it doesn't vary. Each year they ask employers what they need and if it does, and who they work with and who they partner with. So if it's working and the training aligns with what their needs are, then they don't really do any type of modifications unless the employer asks for it. And they want to make sure that what they're doing is sustainable, because some of them are community college and sometimes it's difficult to actually change curriculum. And Oregon, which is super great, is that they're looking at their curriculum through an equity lens. And so they're realigning and looking at what they're doing. And I think that's just really awesome. And it's something that we should all look at. And again, they're just realigning to make sure that the instructors are matching what the employers need and having that conversation, especially if they have an advisory board. So I believe that is it.
Fantastic. To borrow Steve's notes.
Fantastic. I was going to say not only fantastic, but she has earned the much coveted HMTRI gel pen.
I was hoping that would
We're gonna
happen.
have to send these pens out next week.
Exactly.
I can't say how thankful we are of the recorders. They did a great job. I mean, this is, some of us were talking 100 miles an hour. We were talking off cue. You know, and they made perfect sense out of sometimes what could be jumble. So thank you again. Good job. How about recruiting for next time?
Well, see, Mike, this is the incentive now. All these people that
they know they can get gel
haven't
pen.
recorded are now saying, I want that gel pen. So
Okay,
I'm
there we
going
go.
to volunteer next time.
We'll
Well,
also tell them how great it writes too. Ooh,
there we go.
ah.
We've got some high expectations here.
Exactly.
Before what we're going to do is we're going to be showing some clips, and the people whose clip it is are going to give us a little introduction of what it is. We're going to allow people, if they want to stay for the whole thing, if they want to hang out, if they've got other things to do, if they've got to get up and walk around, that's fine. It's our chance to see what other people are doing. Yes, we have a thank you, Jake, Renee, and Karen. Yeah. Before we start the movie, so does anyone one have a question, a comment, or a question to someone else? You know, we've been kind of divided. Sometimes when we're at the face-to-face, we're all in the same room and we get to interact a little bit better. We're kind of divided into our breakouts. We need to do that too, just for logistics of getting these ideas. But here is our group. As you look at this great big Brady Bunch house here, there's 50 of us, and we're in this together. And hopefully we're going to have more money and be able to provide more services to our customers soon. So we're going to be anticipating that. Does anyone have any questions, comments, something they didn't have a chance to say, or something they want to address to someone else? Go ahead, sure. Paul.
I just want to share some good news. You know, I mean, I know we're all working towards helping in our own way humanity move forward, right, at the end of the day, and create these job opportunities. And one of our participants who came in took ownership of his HAZWOP, took ownership of safety, and so we just put additional responsibilities on him. We have an ABC model. Our reentry program is any job, and then there's a better job and career job. He went to work recently for an industry leader, a national organization, as their environmental health and safety manager at one of their largest facilities in the US. And we are so proud of him. In addition to that, the night shift environmental health and safety supervisor also came through our program. So there's employers out there. We're fostering relationships with these employers on second chance hiring. And a lot of us know it's more than second chances, 70 times 7, right? It's infinite for some, but just all, and at times it can be a lot of work, but just stay encouraged and supportive, because we see these results and outcomes, and we're like proud parents, right? When we see someone excel in the marketplace. So I just wanted to share that good news and share a word of encouragement that just really appreciate being involved in this professional learning community, which really a family, right? So just thank you so much for everything everyone does.
Thank you, Paul. You're helping everyone in this room, because as the reputation of this program gets out, they're not just thinking of Recycle Force, they're thinking of ECA, or they're thinking of Auberly, and they're seeing there are good people that are returning citizens, or that are made some mistakes, or they're down on their luck, and it turns out that they want to work and they make really good employees, and the word gets out. And really thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, and we had Coca-Cola in here yesterday on a tour that's looking at second chance hiring, right? Wow. And to put something even more on that, the inventor of Coca-Cola, John Stites Pemberton, we have his descendant in our program. And we introduced one of the executives to him. So, I mean, what universe does that happen in?
Yeah.
Right? So I just want to encourage everyone that every human life has value, even sometimes those that reject the help initially, because they haven't seen the boundaries. And it comes, we call it one love here. Sometimes love is so foreign to someone, they'll reject it because they haven't tasted it. But once they taste it, it's over, right? It's game over.
Right.
And that's the results that we look for here.
Well, we've always said we get paid in hugs and handshakes, and so true. And the longer you're in the program, the more you see that. I'm sure Paul has got many stories, and certainly Janet and Auberly. I mean, it's just amazing, one after the other, of success stories. You made people's lives. You really have.
I used to have more here too.
Any other comments? Anyone have anything coming up that they would like to announce? New babies or anything? Alma said something, but thanks to all of you for sharing. Alma, you could come on. Why don't you say it in person?
From the day one that I met you all, I am just simply amazed at how much you all do with so little, and how caring you are about your particular target groups, and how not only do you take care of your own, but you share that with everybody in this room and in the meetings. And it's you guys just in a world that has so many challenges and so much division, it's so wonderful to exist and be a part of such an amazing group that it just brings, honestly, it brings tears to my eye, because you all are amazing. You are special, and I'm graced to be a part of this group.
Thank you. Hey, John.
John, yeah.
John, I want to say I admire you, John. John is a community activist, and I've said, you are fighting for your community, and you are trying to do the best you can for your community. Now, John has to remember, we have a crummy $200,000 for 3 years. You can't even hire a person to do anything for that. We have to partner and all that. But having said that, I wish we had $1 million or $20 million grant, because you're doing what you should be doing. I admire you. And thanks for your comments through the years, John. But you had something to say. I'm sorry.
Well, I'll tell you, I get my inspiration from listening to all these guys who have done it already, not doing it. And I'm gathering information, trying to incorporate some of what I'm hearing into what we need to do here and how we can do it. So this is a valuable forum. And I think I've been on the PLC for the last, 5 or 6 years, job in doing it. It's one of the most important forums in the country that I like to enjoy because I'm a workforce and development type of person. But also about family, about seeing how people will get back up and go forward. You know, life is life, and there's always another turn around the corner that can make a difference. And each and every one of you, I get something from everybody, and it's inspirational. And I just want to say thank you. And I want to give a shout out to Ken Alexander. I see that he was on, another guy from the past that's done quite a bit as well. And I can't wait to the next meeting. I just can't wait. And I'm going to try to get more folk from our community to participate in these meetings because this is where to learn. If you want to learn about this, this is where to learn. And I thank you all. Thank you.
John. Yeah, John. Hey, Ken.
Hey, Mike, how you doing? I'm just listening here, multitasking. And hey, thanks for the shout out. Yeah, just thanks. You know, what Paul said is just so powerful. You know, and what you said that, you know, we get our reward in hugs and kisses. And when we see people succeed, I mean, there's a whole lot that is not measured in you know, in reports and in grants. You know, when people decide to get up and come and punch a clock and want changes for themselves, it's just a whole lot that is not measured. And when you get organizations that around the world and you get so much support from, you know, from your organizations and EPA, you know, it helps us to do what we do. So without the support, you know, of these agencies from Washington, D.C., all the way to every state and every city and every local community, we couldn't be able to do this. So, you know, that's why we do this work. And I just want to give a shout out to what everybody is doing all around and have functions like this to share a network and to see what best practices are, you know, and help us all to be better. So I'm just glad to be a part and be a contributor to what everybody else is doing. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks. We try to do the best we can. You know, a long time ago, an EPA staffer, this goes back decades, and we were saying, oh, we were trying to get lobby for more money. And she said, no. You get too much money and they're going to take it away from us. It's going to get bureaucratic and you're going to lose what you have. So be careful what you wish for those of us who want more. Let's not get too much, but we acknowledge we can all use a little more assistance.
Mike, I'm one that still wants more even now. Because I can see so many of these great programs coming in for more. I mean, I listen to you guys and it's like, oh, we have 200 people applying for, was it 17 spots? I think I heard from the Oregon women, tradeswomen. I'm like, and I know the rest of your programs are like that. You have wait lists of people. So yeah, we've got an increase, but if everybody comes in for more and everybody that comes in on both years is coming in, I would still like even more so we could get more grants awarded. But my folks remind me, okay, Alman, who's going to manage these? So it's a tough balance. I get it. I understand why management makes the decisions they make, and that's why they make the big bucks and I don't.
Well, what breaks my heart is when I see that award list and really good grantees are not on it. It breaks my heart and I get mad and I made a mistake. And you know, all they see is the grant. Thank goodness they're keeping the annual grants, because if you miss it a year, okay, we can keep our team together. We can reapply for the next year. And thank goodness they're doing that. So we still have a team, but there are really good programs that sometimes there was too much going on. They couldn't get that grant written in time, or something happened and the people who read it were having a bad day, whatever. It's not always a slam dunk. So, but from what we've seen so far, it looks like they're on the right track. So we'll see. We'll see.
I know, Mike, I took a year off because I needed to get in, and then I got things going and I needed to get my local support so I could come back in. You know, sometimes you got to step away from this.
That's right.
At least that's my experience, you
Sure.
know.
So
Now,
you
my
came back.
boss doesn't want me to do that, but I want to step away for every now and then.
You came back with a vengeance. She started with a little program. The nice thing about this program, you can start with a little $200,000 program, and now you got millions. I mean, come on, OAI is another one. You go in small, and all of a sudden, before you know it, you've got this other grant, and you've paired up with another one and another one, and then you don't need us anymore. Feel bad about that sometimes. That's happened in the past, but it's a great starter program. It's a great program, and if you have a struggle 1 year, you could come back another year, and that goes for. We've got a lot of some new grantees who are applying, so hopefully we've convinced you that it's going to be worth the couple of man months to write this grant next month.
Is it next month?
It's coming out in about a month.
Oh,
we'll be
crap.
talking about it. Yes. Looks like we won't be seeing Janet for a while.
Mike Nolan has his hand raised.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, it kind of came up, make sure you get on the HMTRI listserv. There's some extremely valuable resources and partners there. One of them is, the acronym is ATEEC, Advanced Technology, Environment and Energy Center. But they've done a number of documents over the years called Defining. And what happens is we're in a field where different companies, different agencies use different language to describe the same thing. So you might be training someone to be an environmental technician, and there is no job called environmental technician. It might be yard waste coordinator, it might be something else. And so they've made some very valuable documents that not only scan what a lot of these different titles are, but what the different skills and requirements or expectations for those different kinds of jobs or positions are. And this can really help you and help the people in your programs understand what kinds of opportunities are out there, because we found that there's a kind of a Babel effect where you go around the country and all these things are different, in terms of how they're described. So I would just encourage people to look into that.
Well, as long as you're plugging HMTRI, we got a new webmaster finally, and all our PLCs and recordings are up to date and up there. And there's a Connect News and there's a best practices document, and we're constantly trying to improve it. That's the side of our shop where we're trying to do this interaction and peer-to-peer training, but then there's also an aspect of this is just flat out instruction in terms of what it might be the best practice to do something or whatever, and that you could access at brownfields-toolbox.org. So that's up there. Well, if there's nothing more to add, we don't want to miss anyone. Steve, you want to take over the after hours party?
Sure. Okay. Well, welcome everyone to the after hours party. It begins now. We have a few videos that some of you have submitted to us, and we wanted to share them. One we got that we're going to lead off with is actually from a brand new grantee, the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes, and it's a very good video. And Rachel Mowat is here and is going to introduce it for us. I think you're muted. There you go.
Good afternoon, everyone. So this is we are the Department of Labor of the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes, and we are in creation of reorganizing some of our programs, and this is one of the programs that we have been wanting to do is in-house training and things for our people and non-natives as well. So we're really excited for the Brownfield grant that we have so many campuses that we can work on, but we can't because asbestos, lead, and everything is there. So we're excited to be able to train our students and hopefully put them to work either with our tribe or with another construction company that will sponsor our programs, and keep them working and keep them certified and getting refreshers throughout the years, and just keep them motivated in their new careers that they get. But we're really excited for this.
Awesome. Tim, you want to go ahead and...
The Cheyenne and Arapaho Tribes legislature passed resolution establishing the Department of Labor. This department will address the deplorable rate of poverty, unemployment, and underemployment that exists among the Native people. Mission statement: to promote and empower the Native American workforce within the Cheyenne and Arapaho Tribes service area by instituting equitable labor standards, providing opportunities for advancement, and safeguarding employee benefits and rights. Goals: promote policies and procedures for uniform guidance in administering federally funded grants and contracts. Address employment and in training issues relevant to the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribal programs who work with youth and adults. Under the new Department of Labor, the programs created are DREAMS, Office of Veteran Affairs, Veterans Board, and the Vocational Rehabilitation Program. DREAMS program services include education services, employment, job placement and training, training services, and community program services. The Office of Veteran Affairs assists tribal members who are veterans of the armed forces and their families in an effort to improve their quality of life and their future. The program currently has more than 250 recorded veterans in our system and serves an average of 35 veterans a month. The Vocational Rehabilitation Program offers a variety of programs and services designed to help American Indians with disabilities in finding employment and educational opportunities. AIVR services are also offered to junior and senior high school students aged 16 and older if eligible.
Now, some of us may be confused. We see Department of Labor, but this is a job training program.
Thinking about going solo.
Okay. Do you want to explain a little bit about that?
Is Rachel with us?
Is Rachel? Oh, she may not be on. Okay.
Well, I see she had bounced out, but
okay,
I think she came back in.
Oh,
There she is.
It is an EPA program.
Mike, she's
Rachel.
there.
Oh, hey, Rachel. This is while we see Department of Labor, it's an EPA job training program. Do you want to explain for everyone a little bit about how that's structured in your organization? Is she there?
No, her screen is. There she is.
Oh, hey, Rachel. We just had a question. Are you there? She may not hear us.
I'm not sure if she hears us.
Anyway, we're excited about Rachel's program, and it's an EPA program, and we do recognize the difficulty of Native American programs, but you've got a good start.
Can you hear us, Rachel? No, I guess not.
I guess not. And I think Janet's helping her out here and there. Thanks, Janet, for giving her some
Oh, it's
tips.
fantastic because they just got the award too. So
They did, just got the award.
A video up and running already. I mean, that was fantastic.
That's
And we
fantastic.
appreciate it.
Okay.
Should we move on to the next one?
Sure.
Okay, David Jones, I see you here. I think you're here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
There you are.
See me?
Awesome.
Okay.
So yeah, let me introduce David Jones from CDC of Tampa. This is also a fantastic program, and he just got this video put together. And so, David, would you like to describe it for us?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and I really enjoyed the sessions today. We are finishing up our second grant, and the testimonials you'll see are kind of here from one is from the first grant, and the second testimony is from the second grant that we received. But doing a lot of training, a lot of job placement in the area. It's just been wonderful working with the local community to really to train them and get them good paying jobs. So I hope you enjoy the video and kind of see some of the good work we're doing.
Well, because of my injury, and I can't go back into the field of, my previous construction field, arduous hard work. So training I received at CDC, that'll help to put me in the position for my chosen new career field of safety, construction safety. That's when, I realized, well, hey, you gotta ramp this up and actually go forward and gain more certificates to make you more marketable in the safety field, which CDC helped along the way.
Injured my back. I was unemployed for a few months. Then I came back to CDC, where I knew to go for help. So because of the certifications, I landed a job with GHD. I managed to come out of it in a positive way because I took those images of me being there and I used it, pushed me forward in life, So I'm really proud of myself with the work that I've done. For me to be where I am today, I want to thank CDC for giving me opportunities, achieve my fullest potential.
Thank you, CDC of Tampa, for offering what you do, and I hope that you all would continue to offer the services that you do for the wider community of Tampa Bay. So great job, CDC, and I'm very appreciative of what you all do.
Any questions for David? David, I thought one question would be is the acronym CDC. I mean, immediately people probably think of Center for Disease Control Tampa, but it's only the acronym, right?
Right, it's Corporation to Develop Communities of Tampa. Great conversation starter, and the craziest thing through the pandemic is walking into different locations with the CDC logo on your shirt.
CDCs are great organizations to partner with, great organizations, because they have resources. They've been in the community for a long time.
Absolutely.
It's great.
That was fantastic. Mike, I don't see, is there anyone here from LA Conservation Corps? I don't see, they had 2 representatives here today, but I don't see them.
Okay, if they're not here, that's okay. We'll
Show their video anyway?
We'll not only show their video, we'll tell everyone how great a job they're doing, because
Okay. This is a short one. This is a short video that they sent me about a month ago, but it's a good one. So it's about 1.5 minutes.
21.
Oh, an ad too. Okay.
The LA Conservation Corps is a program for at-risk youth. We help them gain job experience if they have none. We do a lot of various community-based projects, and overall it's just a great opportunity for at-risk youth to come into that program and to seek better experience for the next step in life.
First of all, it helps at-risk youth get off the street. The Los Angeles Conservation Corps pretty much provides them an outlet.
The most important thing for me is to teach Corps members how to work, how to follow directions.
Some of the things that I've learned is how to operate machinery, anything that has to do with manual work.
Now that I'm here, I feel that confidence, that backbone to push me forward to get all those things that will benefit me and just help me in life.
Yeah, it gives me the motivation to know that I can still do this. My dreams will come true, and these little steps will get it to where I need to go.
I like that attitude. That's what we want to hear from our applicant pool. I can do it.
Okay, so that was LA Conservation Corps. We have another one from Santa Fe Community College, and actually we have Janet Curley here who can preview it for us.
This is a video. We have a professional photographer come in and video our HAZWOPER drill. And this is to give people an idea of, you know, some of the skill sets that people can do. And remember, when you look at this video, prior to them, the week that they started when we did the HAZWOPER class, these people didn't know how to do things. And I think that the video shows that.
Don't worry about those who get away. Get away. Get away.
Other way. Sit upside down so water doesn't get into it. There we go. Now, all right. Over here.
Very good.
Yeah, fantastic. Any questions for Janet?
Well, my question is, you started with a very small program, but you've got a large program and a lot of support from your college, from your government officials. How did you do it?
Persistence, patience, and establishing putting good boundaries in place.
He was working with the Los Alamos, who said, well, at first we're not going to hire anyone. Now they're thinking of using a program with yours.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I met with the HR director for Los Alamos yesterday and said, look, we've graduated, 179 people, and you've hired about 8 to 10. And they have another program that's going on for radiation control technicians. They've spent $2 million on, and they've only graduated 17 people. And she went, what? I said, yeah, yeah, at least look at us. But Los Alamos is a tough group. They're dealing with some serious stuff. So, but we're moving forward. And I've added new instructors too. So we're definitely moving forward with the kinds of people that we're getting. And hopefully you saw how diverse our group of people is. You were talking earlier about social skills. In the curriculum that I've developed, these people come in as individuals and they haven't got many win stories in their past. And what we do in this whole program is I just structured it so they get individual wins, they get wins as a team, so that by the time they get to this point, they know how to work together as a team, which is one of the things employers are always asking for: communication skills, accountability, and ability to work on a team.
Hey, Janet, I have a question again. As always, kudos to you and your crew. Have you been able to crack the nut with DOE on this 2-year versus 4-year degree?
I'm working on it. Yes, I am, sir. I would say that Lanel at this point is not focusing on degrees. The HR manager, as a matter of fact, yesterday in a meeting with all the educators in the state, said, we're not focusing on degrees, we're focusing on skill sets.
Okay, well, that's a huge shift. And so I applaud you for your work doing that. I gave up after 25 years, but
I'm just building on your shoulders, Nolan, just building on your shoulders.
Use my stomach instead, it's wider.
Nobody accomplishes really big things all by themselves. It's always, working together as, keeping persistent, keeping focused, and Lanel has to hire 1,800 people in the next 9 months. And of those 600
I got the text.
Yeah. That's just Lanel. That doesn't include the contract.
You should let her talk to me before you.
Yeah.
All up in your business. You don't like that.
Okay, well, good job. And
are you going to be in Oklahoma?
According to Stephen Mike, yes, Oklahoma is okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I've registered yet, but I am coming. Okay.
All right. Well, if you're going to be there, I'll be there. How's that?
All right. Sounds good. Look forward to meeting you in person finally.
Yes.
Well, Mike, we've reached the bewitching hour. I actually had one more video queued up. It's 3.5 minutes or so. I don't, if folks want to stick around, should we go ahead and show it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Thumbs up,
Thumbs
everybody?
up.
Okay, Tim, roll the tape.
Communities around the country are recognizing that city parks are a powerful tool to create job opportunities, achieve equity goals, and manage environmental challenges.
Landforce grew out of an effort where we were building Pittsburgh's newest regional park. And around the same time, it became apparent that we could do a couple of different things. We could hire a contractor to come in and build those trails, or we could try to double our benefit. And if we were doubling our benefit, then we would be hiring people who are struggling to make it in our market economy.
Landforce recruits, trains, and supports people who have been marginalized in the Pittsburgh region.
We start off with 6 weeks of training. The training is both soft skills and hard skills. And some of those soft skills include things like how you engage with your team and how you engage with your supervisor, what the chain of command is.
Once I got here, they taught me about planning ahead, because being in construction now, I go to a variety of sites. So now I take the time every week, I plan my week Sunday. Here's where I need to be, here's what time I need to be there. So now I'm packing lunch, late night, doing everything I need to do, boots out, ready to go.
The hard skills we teach are anywhere from tree care, tree identification, tree planting. And then after that 6 weeks, we actually are working on contracts, so environmental stewardship contracts, where everybody is practicing the skills that they've learned.
So we have worked with Land Force on, new trails. They've both constructed them as well as maintained them, tree plantings, and then horticulture, sort of straight up like weed with us on these garden beds.
Land Force works intensely with partners to expand their economic impact in the Pittsburgh region.
We are an organization that wouldn't exist without our partners. We work with a wide range of organizations who have that first contact with a lot of our crew members.
Auberly had a grant from the EPA and we were looking for employer partners, and we approached Land Force and said, we think that you would be able to help our clients get to their next steps. So we help any individual in the Employment Institute facing a barrier to employment, and that barrier can be anything.
In our case, it's often returning citizens. So that's people who are returning from incarceration.
When a person gets out of jail, they're in critical condition.
So when I came out of jail, I don't know, I didn't really have a positive look on life for a while. I kind of went back to my old ways of running the streets, getting in and out of trouble.
Okay, here comes Land Force. You get in Land Force, you get stabilized. Each month that you're participating, you just come back a little closer, little different social things, little intangible things, skills that you're learning, socialization. So now when you're done, you have opportunity.
Currently, I'm enrolled in college. I'm working on my bachelor's. Land Force really helped me get my head on straight and figure everything out. They cared about us like it was their futures on the line. So I really appreciated that, and it makes you want to work harder.
City parks are at the center of efforts to promote a healthy environment, workforce development, and hope.
So that's the joy part, when people start dreaming again, people start thinking about their futures, where they're able to live healthy lives, where they're able to provide for their children and enable their children to lead healthy lives going forward.